Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here in Brooklyn, New York. I met up with Rob and his gang of van lifers here, and he's going to give us a little bit of insight on alternative living in New York City. Hello, Rob. Welcome to New Jersey Outdoor Adventures.
Hey, thanks for coming by. This is, as we've dubbed it, Van Alley. It's a bunch of like-minded individuals kind of coming and going. These are everybody is here right now, but Van Alley is just kind of a dead-end street on Williamsburg that I started living at in 2019, and I wasn't really ready for van life. I bought the van wanting to work on it and have an apartment. My lease didn't really work out that way, so I wound up just kind of living here, and I ran into some other people, and we've just been, you know, coming and going, and I've been converting ever since. So this is Drew, Liz,
and Cole.
Cole, welcome. So maybe show you around their vans a little bit.
So this is my van. It's an old 87 Dodge Explorer that I spend some time beating back to life occasionally. It barely sleeps me back here. You're welcome to take a peek. I have to go corner to corner on this bed, and it's still pretty tight at my height, but I make it work. We got a little kitchenette inside, you know, a refrigerator, propane stove. I've got a full shower in there, toilet, so really not feeling too restricted in the way I live, and getting away with being in the city with no rent is pretty great.
This is a van that I'm working on currently with Liz. It's about, I'd say, 60% done. Just turn on these annoying switches, but as you can see, the walls are up. This is the 1/4-inch ceiling that will eventually support some cedar tongue and groove planks. The max air fan's hidden right now, but that'll be cut out. And the whole idea of this van is to have usage of space. The transit kind of curves up, and I didn't want to waste all the space of that for insulation. A lot of people just kind of kill the walls. So this is a great laptop storage, and it's kind of hidden away. You can tuck things kind of deep in there if you don't want anybody to find it. Back here, there's definitely some work going on. One of the signatures that I've adopted in every van that I work on, I try and push people towards, is a lot of people get windows all around their van, but the Lumar boat skylight, if you were to close all the doors in here, you'd probably have more light than somebody with 360-degree windows, because light comes from the ceiling, or I mean the sky. So the other thing that allows, when you stand on the bed, you can pull yourself through, and there's a nice roof deck on the top, so you can stand up and you know, kind of see what's going on. These are the cameras that you can see from the outside, but it's a 360-degree view, so you can see her there as well as there. This fan there is there. So when you're in bed, you know, there's nothing you don't know about outside, in case you're worried about any sound. I use the push-to-slide drawer slides here, so eventually there'll be cabinet faces on this. This will be a door where you can access the diesel heater. There'll be a hot water heater here. This is the water pump switch. Very work in progress right now, but something I really always push for is doing push-to-slides, because you don't have to have any hardware. One of the worst parts about any RV living is when you're in a tight corridor, you're gonna get caught on stuff. So with no hardware, gives you a really nice layout there. On this side, again, work in progress. This is the Nature's Head toilet. And then we have a bench on this, so this will be all couch cushions. But this is giving you that extra storage. The Dometic fridge. It's the last part here. Pardon the coronas. Virus not included. You have the ability to pull this out. So when you're shopping, you can pull the cart right up to your door and load everything right in. Give it a good old push back. The cab is separated just by a curtain right now. Eventually there'll be a track that goes up through here, so it'll be a full, complete cover. a little bit more of a tour. This needs to be closed up, but this is the diesel heater pump and fuel filter. So the plan is to put some more insulation in there to kind of hide the sound. And the way that works is it's off a diesel tank. Now the van's not diesel, so what you have to do is just unscrew this and give the old diesel fuel. So you get some funny looks when you're at gas stations. You fill up on one side and then you come to the other side to fill up your 2-gallon diesel tank, but it works. And then go back here, you can see the start of the roof deck. So this is a Flatline Vanco roof rack. It's cheaper to just buy a assembled roof rack. You know, it's no DIY sort of fall apart thing. Feels really secure when you're building some sort of deck on top. But that's one of the cameras, so it's a fisheye lens. You can see it, you get the full view back here. So on this side, it's your other camera. And then the front, you have it right on the top of the van. The solar panels are 300 watts of Renogy, so it's 3 100-watt Renogy solar panels, and that allows you to kind of jigsaw, or what's the word? That allows you to Tetris them together, so you get the maximum amount of space. So you can kind of piece them around your max air fan. This is my van. My van is a complete disaster right now. I'm rebuilding vans for her, so I'm rebuilding that right now. I like to call it the pirate van because we're a one-eyed in the back, just to maintain New York City law and you know, have a van window. So we'll skip that one. Cole here.
Cheers. Hi.
The old Van Alley captain.
Yeah. I don't really know how this works, but I moved in here 2 years ago. Not to Van Alley. I lived in Colorado eventually and got the van to do competitive skiing. And when I decided not to do competitive skiing and wanted to move to New York, I was looking at rent. No, that's not gonna happen. So I just decided to take the old van and come here. That's about it. Used to be another bed down below that has since turned into a garage. I lived in here with a roommate, but just this is all of life. There's dishes on the counter because I made tacos this morning, but didn't make anything for you guys because I didn't know you were coming. But yeah, little workstation here for what I do every day, a little fridge, and a whole battery setup in there, just a mess of wires and fun stuff. Other than that, there's the garage. I will get a sink eventually, but I just build it as I get more money. So I made the garage and all nice for my toys because I care about them more than me. And I'll make a nice sink living area for me next year when I get more money. But yeah, that's about it. In the garage, obviously, there's my old ski gear on the right and any number of sports for whatever ends up happening. As I said, I used to live in Colorado, so that's what we do.
Did you ever winter here?
I'm about to. I just ordered a heater. I did a winter up in Canada and did pretty well without the heater, but you know, I am looking forward to actually being warm and not waking up in the cold.
Because that's a big research term, van life winter.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are always curious about what's it like. What's your experience on that?
So when I started, I moved into the van with no insulation, literally a hammock and then a mattress on the floor. And I found, you know that older guy?
The guy who like he uses his propane to cook.
Yeah, so if you look online, everybody does propane heaters, Mr. Buddies and things like that. And like after, I think the best thing about Van Alley is the amount of people I meet. So I've met probably 40 different vans that have different solutions for wintering. And you know, the diesel heater is kind of the way to go. You know, tapping off your diesel tank. Or
they have fully convinced me to get a diesel heater being here. Everyone on this block has that diesel heater.
I stepped into a guy's van who had it, and he was like, $100, and I was like, $100, I can be this warm. You know, I can show you like turning on the diesel heater, but the sound's not really that bad. You can put a silencer on them, and I mean, for a video I made, I have a pop-up tent. I've showered on this sidewalk right here, like in a pop-up tent, and I pulled the hot water heater or the hot water from my van into the, like I was showering out in like a BLM land, but it's New York City. No one cares. Literally no one cares. Stealth is not real. No one cares about a little bit of sound coming from your car. Unless you're parked in like a super ritzy residential neighborhood where somebody's confused by a peep, most of the time people are not gonna blink twice at a little sound coming from your diesel heater. So I run a diesel heater probably 24/7 during the winter, and running it that much, it's a cheap Chinese diesel heater. I've done this for 2 years. I'm away from the van sometimes.
And if you're not just doing van life in New York City and you want to go to Europe, they have idling laws. If you have a diesel heater, you don't have to worry about getting in trouble for idling either.
Yeah, so that's one of the big things that Webasto does. But yeah, I do 24 hours diesel heater. It lasts about 3 days. You're running about like $10 a week in diesel. It's way cheaper than anything you'll ever pay for in an apartment, and you go 3 months in, you know, these cold climates. Like, I have to crack windows when I have the diesel heater on. It's no insulation, you'll still be fine. It's the warmest thing there is.
What's the cost of living in an apartment in this city versus what it costs you per month in the van with getting water and heat and whatever amenities that you need?
Yeah, so VanLife is right on the water in Williamsburg, and the apartment right across the street is $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. So I like to kind of talk about that a lot when people are like, you know, oh, you live in a van. It's like, I live on the waterfront in Williamsburg for about $700 a month. That's between like my van payment and anything else I'm doing for the van, just little upgrades, $700. Typically the max budget I spend between anything for the van. So it's nice to know that I'm paying the cheapest rent I've ever paid in New York. Like, I used to live further down, probably like 30 minutes away, deeper into Brooklyn. It was like not so nice Bushwick, and I paid $900 for a room with 3 other roommates. Now I live alone for less than that, and I kind of control where I want to go. So if I want to be closer to Domino Park, I live at Domino Park now, and if I want to live at Van Alley, I live at Van Alley. So
I notice other vans down, as you see down the street there. These are other people that live here as well?
Yeah, so some people come and go, some people, so there's a van here that I think he lives full-time with his girlfriend, but this was what he was doing for a while, so he just leaves it parked. A unique opportunity here is there's no signs for alternate side parking. So I can park here for 6 months, and whether I'm out of the van going to the workshop or back in Long Island doing something else, I can leave the van here for months at a time and not worry about a ticket. And that's, you know, a huge thing. And you get a ticket, it's $65, you add it to your expenses, and you know, it's still cheaper than any sort of New York City rent.
And it looks like your days are numbered here. There's what, amusement park going up there? Is that going to affect this capability on this street?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, the city had purchased this building as well as everything to the water up to Greenpoint, and they're creating a really nice park from Domino Park all the way down to the edge of Greenpoint. So unfortunately, one day, very soon, Van Alley won't exist anymore, but the idea that was born here is always going to kind of stay around. There's people all over the city. This isn't really something that's new. It's just a unique opportunity that, you know, it's arisen, and I'm going to take it to wherever it goes next, whether I stay in New York City or, you know, wherever else. But I don't really know what to say about that. It's sad because, like, saying the realization out loud that like this won't exist anymore will be like a sad day for me, for sure.
And can you give any tips to our viewers on someone that is looking to move into a van from an apartment? Some of the things that you had to overcome when you first started this?
Yeah. So when I first started doing my van in New York City, people were like, you're going home, right? You're going back to your van. I'm like, you go home to an apartment that has cockroaches and mice. Like, I live in a van that's heated, I pay less than you, and I live on the front of the best view of the skyline of New York City. So if you wanna like start, you know, talking about that stuff, you just really have to let it go. You have to let your friends who are just, they're projecting onto you their uncomfortable nature of doing it, and they don't know what it is. So if it's for you, just do it. I mean, I bought a van and lived in a hammock for 6 months while I had no heat. I mean, I had a heater, but I had a Mr. Buddy and it was propane, it was a mess. I lived in a hammock and, you know, I made it work. I met some of the greatest friends I'll have for the rest of my life, and that's really the community. Like, everybody in van life will do whatever they can to fix your problem. Like, New York City is known for people like tripping and falling and everybody stepping over you. The van life community, wherever it is, will call out of work that day to fix your problem because they know the struggle of, you know, converting that first step. And once you make that first step and get into this alternative lifestyle, your whole life changes and you stop working for the $1,000 rent that you can't make and start taking your adventures out of the city and having your work-life balance. Like, I live in the city to have a great social life, but I also want to have a great life and go out and do things. So for anybody wanting to get into van life, there's no steps. Just take the plunge, buy a van, and sleep on the floor of the van until you're knowledgeable enough to make it 100% where you're happy with.
And you, as a professional skier, you were staying in and out of hotels?
Professional is a heavy word, but yeah, I did the hostel thing for a while, traveling around, and eventually I gave up and bought this van, and it worked well for traveling anywhere you want to go, having the flexibility to do whatever you want to do. And as far as moving away from here, it will be a sad day. I've only been here for 2 weeks, and there's a lot of history. I've heard tons of stories over the last 2 weeks of all the memories they've had here. But, you know, it's an alley, and we'll find a better spot.
Yeah, I like to think of it as Van Alley is not so much this specific place. It's just the idea that you can have a community like this in New York City where everybody doesn't always socialize.
This is not my first Van Alley, and it surely won't be my last. We're all over the place, and it's a good, tight-knit community. You can live in an apartment where you don't know your neighbors. I know all 5 of mine, and they're awesome.
And you have a YouTube channel on van life? Is that what your channel's focused on?
I mean, I just like to show off anything that I've struggled on. So if my rule is kind of like, if it's taken me a long time to figure out, then I want to share how I did it easier. So the next person who's looking for that issue can, you know, get there faster.
I appreciate you doing that for people that are researching this lifestyle, having that content out there to help them out. That's the whole reason why I do this channel, is to help connect the dots. There's a lot of people that want to enter this lifestyle that hit a lot of roadblocks. Usually it's family and friends that tell them no, but the videos help people see that they could do this. They have a refrigerator, they have water, they have all the essentials that I need to feel comfortable living, and thank you for sharing that content.
Yeah, I'm always happy to help anybody take the next step.
Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love it, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys. Thanks.
Cheers.